Welcome, one and all. How's everybody doing today? Nice to see you all out there in the world. Let's see here. Let's see who we've got tonight. We've got good evening, Glenn. Good evening, Paul. Mike, I see you there, and I got my message that it looks like I'm going online. How nice! How nice of me to tell me. And let's see, Ed Newman. Nice to see you. Gary Hammett, Kevin from Philadelphia. And I'll expect a few more will be trickling in. Let's see what wonderful things we have in store for today. Let me give the crowd a moment to congregate. And I'll start working on the different things. Now, I got a question for you guys. Is there anything specific? You know, I've got a couple things in mind, but is there anything specific that you guys would like to see? Maybe there's a project that you guys like and you want to, you're finding it a little tough, especially for you beginners, to design it on Vectric and on VCarve. And hey, I'd be happy to draw up something for you, and you just keep throwing at me, no, not like this, but I want this and I want this, and watch as I do it, and then later play the show back, and you'll have an easier time of it. So by all means, if anybody has any project that they'd like to see me draft up real quick, I'll be happy to share. I'll be happy to do it. If not, we'll do one of the ones I have on my list. And good evening, Dave Krause. Good evening, David Davis. And Paul Hitch, good to see you. You are, oh, wait, okay. Now, Hitch, you're saying, hey, Javi from Southwest Florida, me in Southwest Florida, or are you down here visiting? Just a question. And so I've been working diligently like crazy before I get on the project. Let me wait another couple minutes for people to arrive. I've been working diligently on my estimate, takeoff sheets and stuff. So I'm happy to say that the project's going to cost me considerably less than I'd imagined. And in case anybody is wanting to build their own house and they have the necessary skills, and this is a big one, and they have a county that allows everything to be owner builder with no problem, allows you to pull all the permits. And another big one, if you can afford it, or if you can secure the financing, because a lot of times what happens is a lot of these financiers, they will not finance a project unless it is done with a contractor. Well, that being said, if you want to do something and you have the ability and the physical ability and the skill, by all means, I encourage you, as I'll be doing next year. I'll be building a house on my own, and I'll be doing most of the, obviously, things like pouring 7,000 square feet of concrete. That's not a one-man job. That's an 8 or 10-man job. So that'll be done with a crew. But, framing and everything, taking my time, you're looking at saving somewhere in the neighborhood for an average, say, $400,000, $500,000 home. You're looking at saving close to $200,000. So a $500,000 house will cost you $300,000. Now, clearly, if you're building a small house, 1,200 foot or that, it's going to be substantially less money to save, but a lot less to build. So, I mean, you could easily by yourself do a relatively large home up to about 2,400 square feet with, let's see, the price that I am doing it per square foot, in case you have a question, in case you need to know exactly, and granted, with bigger jobs, this is about the price per square foot, bigger or smaller, but usually the bigger the house, the smaller the square footage, but it's not that big of a difference. And we're looking at somewhere in the neighborhood of $45 a square foot. And that's just the house. If I were to include the steel building, then we're looking at $28 a square foot, because the steel building it's a very good price. It's a structure. And it's practically double the size. You know, you got the house and then you got the steel building, and they're both about the same size roughly. And so anyway, you'll save a lot of money. So let's see what happens here. Hey, look who I see here in the midst. Good evening, Russ. How's it going,
fellas? How y'all doing?
How's everything? How's your lip feeling?
It's still there, but part of it looks like it's missing.
Well, I don't see it.
50 years and I've never done that. I don't know. Kevin Wilkinson,
good to see you. Hey, an old friend Otto is popped in there.
Kevin Wilkinson had a question for you.
Yeah, someone had a question here. Yeah, here we go.
Wilkinson. There you go.
Kevin says, how often do you have to home the machine? Okay. My suggestion is, well, first of all, you home the machine every time you turn it on, because when you turn it on, just the act of turning the machine on, you'll have the like with this one, it'll go gunk, and it may just go off by, a very, very, very small amount, but that small amount adds up. And that's one.
But that's if you have homing switches, though, correct? If you don't have all that, then you don't need
you have homing switches, or you could use the V bit on an exact point for home, whichever method you choose. The second thing that I would say, another reason why to home it often. Okay, so when you turn it on, but also if you have, like, some time ago I was doing, I don't know, I was doing some stuff like, okay, here's a big the. So cutting stuff out of plywood or whatever. Now, clearly, unless you're the type of person that that has a spoil board that is crazy and has a spoil board on top of your spoil board, which there's a reason they call it a spoil board on the bottom, but the way I like to do it, and most people, is you have the spoil board, and then you know the exact distance that you're going down, and that's exactly where it'll be scraping, and so maybe an infinitesimal amount that'll scrape the spoil board. But some other people, they'll just have a 3/4 plywood underneath and use it as scrap. Or they'll have a bunch of different scrap that they'll use as scrap. And then what you do is, at that point, you just pass it by a 1/10 or 1/4 of an inch. And then, okay. So if you're the former, like I am, and you're always cutting very precisely when you're cutting through material, or even if the point is, your machine occasionally even the biggest machines will, well, unless you're dealing with servos, but any DIY machine will lose steps after a time, particularly if you're doing a piece over and over and over and over. I had some hobby boxes that I was doing, some CNC controllers that I was building, and I was doing the frames for them. And after about 5 frames, now granted, each frame takes 45 minutes to 50 minutes to cut. So we're talking about 5 hours of CNC time, and stop and go and change bits and stop and go. And now it will automatically, each time it changes a bit, it will automatically drop and center. But after those 5, it was off by 0.02 inches high. So it was actually leaving a little thin shade of veneer on the bottom, which I had to, go through all the work of using an X-Acto knife to scrape off. So I learned after 2 or 3 jobs, or after an hour, let's say, an hour or 2, obviously don't interrupt your machine if it's like a 30-hour cut. But if you're doing a bunch of small pieces or a lot of bit changes, then check on it every so often, and home it again. In between jobs is a good rule of thumb.
I definitely agree with that.
Yeah, because what happens is, I mean, and I'm not talking X and Y. X and Y, if you're doing a repetitive job and you're doing multiple copies of something, you don't want to rehome X and Y, because you're probably going to be bigger unless you actually see that it's off. But Z, always re-zero Z. X and Y, if you're doing a job, say like I like to do jobs where I have the piece of wood covers the whole entire piece, and most jobs I do will do all the work and then cut out the profile.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll always have a frame or a little piece of scrap or something. In that case, it's fine if you rehome all the time, X and Y, because you've got enough play inside the thing. But if you're working with a precision piece that you just got perfect, so there's the long answer.
Well, to answer Glenn's question, he asked, did I get around to it yet? And I said, nope, not yet. I see one in Javi's behind me back there.
Yeah,
but I
always got one behind me here. Hang on a second.
don't have one yet.
Yep. Yeah. This is the. I made this some time ago. I always like to keep it here and stuff. So yeah,
I like that. That's pretty cool.
Nice dandy round to it. I did that in one of my prior episodes. So guys, are you interested in seeing any in any particular project? Russ, how about you? Anything you want to?
Oh, I don't care. I just like looking at
the projects in general.
At the projects in general and what you come up with. As far as the homing stuff, see, I don't have homing switches and I don't have the limit switches and nothing like that. I've never had a problem with it. I don't see the need for it.
It's a luxury that I enjoy, that I afford,
Mm-hmm.
and I love it, and a lot of people do.
Yeah.
And it's not that it's a little bit of work to put on the limit switches, a little bit of learning, but it's not a big cost.
Yeah.
And once you do it, you'll save time and you'll be happy you did it. It's one of those things like the spindle.
Mm-hmm.
I bought a spindle, and it's to replace my router. Mm-hmm. At first, I didn't know what in the world it was. What's the difference? What's the big deal? And then and I was a little scared of, I don't want any water near my. But they do have very cool spindles. But so I didn't know. So the difference between a spindle and a router is that a spindle is more like a really heavy-duty stepper motor, if you want to look at it that way. Mm-hmm. But they both do the same thing. They both will have a bit and draw and move it all around. I'll get to your question in a second, David. And then the thing about the router is that the router is, I don't know. There's a lot of people that'll argue with me that, I've had my router doing 50-hour jobs and no problem. It takes a toll on the router. And there's no argument that if you have a 100-hour job on a weekly basis, that router is going to wear real fast, whereas the spindle is going to last you years. Because the spindle has, it's got ceramic bearings. Well, the decent quality ones do. Even the cheap Chinese ones have. It's got, as opposed to 2 bearings, it's got 4. It's got, and the way it's made is basically, think of it as brushless, because that is what it is. Anyway, it's a different technology. It's much higher precision. It's reversible, and the speed. And there's the big one for me. You can control the speed. If I ever have a need to tap and die something, it's simple. If I ever have a need to, and I have, work with plastic, you got to have, you're talking 500 to 2,000 on the speed. There's no router that goes down to that without burning out.
How about that?
Good evening, Patrick. How are you? Hey, Frankie. Good to see you. So, I mean, what I was getting at earlier is, so to continue, luxuries that you don't need, but it's one of those things that once I bought the spindle, I'll never look back, and I will never. And if I can, I will get a spindle on every machine, every router that I have.
I can understand the spindle.
Not everyone. I'm trim router. You don't need it, but
Yeah.
I'm talking the ones that you use on a regular basis.
Yeah, I
Like
can
a bench
understand
router. When I'm building the house, I'm one of the things I'm getting is I'm replacing it with a spindle because frankly, I'm going to be making all the furniture, all the cabinetry, and everything. So, okay.
Well,
so
Kevin said he understood the Z part. He just didn't know if you have to rehome after you reload the G code.
No. You don't have to rehome. That it also depends on your G code. So I will say this: some G codes, you have to set the machine at a particular place and start from there. So I don't know how yours is. Russ, how's the your machine? Do you have to actually set it at a homing position to start?
No.
Okay.
No.
As
All I
long
do
as
is just
it knows
start
where
the project.
home is.
Yeah.
In most cases, certainly with the Gatton and the Garage Works and a few other machines, you certainly the Cam Master's the same way. If it knows where home is, it will automatically go there. With most G codes. There are some people who they'll just write their own G code manually and like, I want to make a square, and then they'll write, but then they'll forget they have to start at a specific piece.
Yeah.
But anyway,
No.
okay.
My home is just project home, wherever my project is.
So David, who is drawing my plans? I am. I have drawn all the plans. I used to work as a draftsman for years, but I have done the mechanical, plumbing, electrical, the isometric, and the floor plans, all the floor architectural plans. So basically, now I do not have an architectural degree. Therefore, I go to my buddy, the architect, look over the plans, see if there's any errors. No errors. He'll stamp it. I mean, he'll take responsibility, but it's basically, and that is necessary for most jurisdictions. There are some counties that all you need to do is pull a permit for the house. They don't even inspect or anything. There are some counties like that. And here's the funny part. Even in those counties, I have found out you cannot live in an RV on your property. I find that hilarious. You can build a house, you can get a permit for a house and build they're rural counties, and don't complain if your neighbor if you live in a rural county, do not complain that your neighbor is it, because you have the luxury of doing it any way you want it. So don't complain that your neighbor has a dilapidated house and then your other neighbor here has $1 million home. I mean, it's basically you have the freedom to do that. But along with that freedom and without those regulations comes certain, it's give and take. Mm-hmm. That's why I was a little upset at my neighbor reporting a container on my property, which I was using temporarily for materials when during the build process, which is yet to begin, but it will soon. And he made me take it off the property. He called me in, and everyone here has already said it. All my regulars, they've already said, what business is it of his? Why is he, it's like the the nosy neighbor who has nothing better to do because he literally has nothing to do. So it is what it is, you know.
We have a question here when you get a minute.
What's the here we go.
Mike, yeah.
That one? There we
Yep,
go.
that's the one.
I'd like to know how to make a half round border on a sign for interest. Okay, so I know how to get a border with a pocket, but that's square. Okay, so let me see how. Okay, so a half round border. Something like, you mean something like this one? Or are you just talking just a half round edge on the
I think that's what he's talking.
He might be talking about this one. If he is, I'll show you how. I will show you how right now. And let's see here. All right, let me look and see if we got anything else. And I'm assuming that Kevin's asking to get in touch with someone else.
Right.
I didn't follow the conversation.
Yeah.
Javi's wood shop box with NEMA 34s. If the NEMA 34s are under 4 amp, then no problem. But I honestly, or the other thing you can do is ask me to make a custom box, and I'll price it out for you with beefier drivers on it, because frankly, that's all it really needs. Everything else is the same. Let's see.
Yeah, Mike said just like the round to it.
Just like the round to it. Okay, so here we go. Let's go ahead and share my screen, and I shall show you the wonderful alrighty. Where is my, I thought I had it here. And here we are. There we are. And here we are. Thought I had it open already. V-Carve 10.5.
Before you get started in it, Frankie said message him when you get a chance.
Oh, Frankie said to message him?
Yeah, when you get a chance.
Oh, okay. Let's see here. All right.
Mike
create a
says,
new file.
Mike says he uses V-Carve Pro to carve with. So.
Okay, this is V-Carve Pro, so it's a simple matter. First, let us. First thing you need is a bit that. Look, I'm going to show you real quick how to create a tool bit profile. Let's hope that I could do it better than last time I attempted this, but it should be pretty simple to do. Okay, so I'm going to zoom into this little. Actually, I'm going to create a box now. I'm going to create a toolpath for my brand new roundover bit. Now, remember, a roundover is the opposite of a ball nose. All right, so a roundover looks like this, or a ball nose looks well, obviously like this. It looks. Instead of being a U shape, it's you'll see it right now. Okay, so let me create a rectangle. Now, I will say that the bit is a 1/2 inch wide. No, let's make it a 1/2 inch roundover. So it's 1 inch wide. That's a monster bit. Let's try 3/8. How's that? Now, if I can remember what it's 0.75. Okay, so let's create this little square on the bottom, and this is just for reference. I'm going to create a square at position 0, 0, width and the height of which is, let's see, 3/8. Yeah, I'm going to need it 3/8. So 3/8 inches, and I'll hit the equal sign. Boom. Which obviously everyone knows it's 0.375. But again, for you VCarve users, here's a handy tip: 3 divided by 8, and now you just hit the equal sign, wham, and it converts it for you. So I create my little box. There's a tiny, tiny, tiny little box way down here. All right, so we have our box. This is 3/8 by 3/8. Now the round over is going to go from here to here, and then, okay, let me show you what it looks like real quick. So I'm going to create a circle at this point, and the circle's radius is going to be 0.375. And I'm going to create it right down here. All right, so you see what I did? I created this line here. Now I'm going to go to the nodes here. This is the nodes, the node editing mode. And I'm going to delete this by hovering over it and clicking the D. Hit this, hovering over it, clicking the D. And the one you don't see down here, also D. Now I'm left with this one. Well, now if I want to, what I could do is duplicate the, let me actually share something with you. And that is, let me show you what the bit is going to look like. Obviously, you can see right here, this is what it's going to create. It's going to create a 3/8 inch high and 3/8 inch wide round over on the edge of the thing. Now, here's what happens. Let's say I have a piece that's .75, and I'm gonna, I'll put it here. Okay, so no, actually, I take that back. All right, so let me share what I'm gonna do. All right, so I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna mirror it, I'm gonna flip it on the right side here, like so. So really, and get rid of this square. I'm just drawing a very, very crude drawing, but if I do this and this and this, let me see, it's gonna be here, and this. That is, the head of your bit. That's what your bit actually looks like. That is a round over bit, folks. Now, I'm gonna take this piece right here, or this piece, doesn't matter. They're both the same. I'm gonna take the piece, and go to my tool. Let's go to the I know how to do it from the tool path, but I want to see if I pull it up over here. Hang on a second. And there it is, tool database. Go to the tool database. Now it's still selected down here, just so you know. I'm going to create a new form tool. All right, so I'm going to say new, add a tool under the selected tool group. Okay, so I'm going to create a form. I'm going to click on form tool and click plus. And then it should have, nope. I take that back. See, this is the part that you got to practice. Okay, hang on a second. Thought it was form tool. Yeah, okay, so form tool. Okay, tool type form tool. Here we go. Now I'll click plus. No. Why is it doing this? Let's see here. Well, anyway, here we go. Let's add a tool under the selected group. Add a group. Okay. Oh, that's what happened. I didn't choose the form tool first. Okay. Yeah, this is an old tool that I have here in the form tool. So, well, anyway, I'm just going to go ahead and duplicate this one. But wait a second. No, it should be. I did. Okay. Let me. Well, let me skip on the form tool thing. I always get in Dutch whenever I do this. But here's the deal. Let's say you wanted to create that that rounded border. So now we'll get to the heart of the matter. Let's say you have a circle, and the circle is at point 1010, and the diameter is, let's say, 10 inches. All right, so you got a 10-inch circle, and there is your piece. This is going to be the outside profile. Well, so you want this outer edge to be a roundover like my to-it, like my round to-it. Let me make sure I'm not missing anybody out here. Hang on a second. You still there, Russ?
Yep.
Yep, there you are. Okay, just because I haven't heard anybody, so I just didn't know if I could have been talking for 5 minutes and shut off my StreamYard and wouldn't even know it. All right. So let's say you have this piece here, and now this is your actual border, and rather this is your actual edge. So eventually you'll do a profile and cut all the way through it, or this is your piece. So it's a simple matter. You go over here and you use the offset tool. Choose this. Now, what is my roundover? It's 3/8 of an inch. So 3/8 of an inch will be half of it, and the other 3/8 of an inch will be the other half. So a total of 3/4 of an inch. That's the width of my border. So here we go. We'll go over here. We'll do an inwards circle, distance 0.3075. Now you could also go to the same circle tool and just create one. This is a 10-inch circle. You can create a 9 1/4 inch circle. There's more than one way to do this. But the point is you have two circles that are offset exactly 0.75 inches. And there they are. What do you do now? Simple. This is the easiest part. Couldn't be any easier. Go to your, select both of those, profile, on. So now the tip of that little V is going to be here. It's going to router out half of it over here. You don't care. This is garbage, waste. You're going to router half of it over here, and that's going to be the top half. That's going to be half of the thing. The other one is going to have the other path is going to router it here, and of course here. So you will be stuck with a little curve on the inside of this, but here's the deal. Then you take and you pocket it out. So let's go ahead and do a cut depth of 0.375. And with the, select the let me see if I can add a new tool now. Type. Oh, here we go. This is where I add it. Form tool. Oh, no suitable. All right, hang on. Let me go back here. Let me select this thing. Select form tool. Come on, I just selected one. Don't tell me I didn't select one. Close. Let me select this one. Maybe it likes the right side.
It does like the right side.
That's the problem. Oops, not edit passes. Select. Let's try this one more time, guys. Okay. And form tool. All material, blah, 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 will be removed if the tube... Yeah. I hear you. I hear you. That's exactly what I want. Okay. Form tool 3/4. There it is. I'll just call it whatever. I'll call it a 3/4 round over bit later, but that's it. Form tool 3/4. Let's go back to our little wonderful project. Select this again and select form tool 3/4. Okay. Create settings. Yeah, that's good settings. Pass depth. Yeah, whatever. Apply. Select. All right. Remember, I said on the toolpath. So Now, granted, there's a lot of these, including the roundover, that's available in a bunch of different libraries. So you don't have to go through all that trouble to create one unless you actually have a custom tool. But it's important to know how to create a custom tool if you're going to do these things. Calculate, and now it will do the following. Reset preview, preview all toolpaths. You notice how it cut one on the inside, then it cut it grooved it on the outside. So if you look, there's my border. Okay, doesn't look like a border, it looks like a nice little donut in there, but that's because I didn't do the other two things, which is, let's say right now I'll put, do me a favor, read me Mike's call letters again. If you got it there, Russ. W something, or are you even there?
I'm here, but I was talking.
Oh, hang on. I got it. W4FEJ. Okay, so I was okay. W4FEJ. Let's do a nice little standard type and make it extremely smaller. And this is just to have something on here. So yeah, we made a nice little sign for Mike, and we put a nice little border on it. And now what I'm going to do is I want this piece, holding my shift key, to center to this piece. So then I'll go to my alignment tool. Remember, it's first one. Everything you select will go to the last one. And I want it centered both this way. Boom. There it is, dead center. Now I shall choose these two and select a pocket toolpath. End mill, that's fine. And I cut to a depth of 375 because that is my depth on the circle. So it will cut out all this inner stuff. And then lastly, before I even test this out, I'm going to do this. And I'm going to create a toolpath on the outside. Remember, don't leave the on outside, and select a quarter inch end mill. And it's going to be, come on, select end mill, quarter inch. And profile, oh yeah, the depth is going to be 0.75. So simple matter, you just cut well, let me show you what you cut. Okay, so reset, preview all toolpaths, cuts the inner, the outer, and then it actually creates a pocket. Let me get rid of this. Let me zoom into here. And there's Mike W4FEJ and a nice little round disc there on that. You know, a nice little what's this called? There's your roundover. There's your nice smooth roundover. That's one way to do it. The other way to do it, again, that's using a tool. Now, if you're going to do something like if you're going to create that would have to be done with aspires. If you were going to create, you could actually take both these lines and draw a fluted toolpath between the two, or rather, it's a toolpath between the two, and you can specify it to be in the shape of an upside down U, and then it will go and carve that out. That's more of a 3D thing, and that's with Aspire. Go watch Mark Lindsay, CNC, on his regular show. He'll tell you all sorts of stuff, and go see it on his channel. In fact, I did it on my channel years ago, so you can go to Javi.com and look for the old episodes of Learn CNC with Javi, but they're not very, neat. I'm saying they're not very well edited, or they're rough. I'll just say they're rough. But anyway, let's see what else we got. Yeah, so yeah, my buddy built a pole barn, put his RV in it, and then built his house in Sumter County. Yeah, that's one way to do it. That's one way to do it. Now, here's the thing. You're not allowed to have, at least in this county and in most counties, you're allowed to have an RV on site. You're not allowed to live in the RV. In some counties, like Miami-Dade, I'm allowed, as long as I have a house on the property. There's the big if. If I have a house on the property, I'm allowed to have an RV parked in my front yard for 2 weeks, 2 weeks max. Because, Cousin Eddie could come by. I mean, sometimes that's the way it is. But that being said, if it was vacant property, I wouldn't be allowed to have an RV there. In Miami-Dade, I'm allowed to store an RV on a vacant property. In Lake County, I'm not. It depends on each jurisdiction, and most counties will not let you store or live if it's just a piece of land. Pole barn's a great idea. I thought of it also, but they will not give me a permit for a pole barn without a house. So you build a house, and then I can build as many pole barns as I want on it, as long as it doesn't exceed such and such square footage percentage of the lot, which 5 acres. I'm never going to build that many pole barns. Who would need it? Let's see here. Okay, so I'll message you on Facebook when I get out. After the show, I'll message you, Frankie. No problem. Use V-Carve Oro. I've never seen V-Carve Oro. V-Carve Gold? Let's see here.
Glenn says, how about a large tent instead of a pole barn?
Nope. There is absolutely no structure allowed. No structure. And they consider a tent a structure. Let's put it this way. There's another rule there. You cannot camp overnight on your own property. That's crazy.
That's ridiculous.
I agree. And it's a very, very recent ruling. It's 2015 is a lot of these. A lot of these are like the container thing happened in 2015. Somebody got a stick up their butt, and it was probably lobbied by the RV people or somebody that didn't want disreputable sort of person and stuff. But here's what they don't understand is most of the time what will end up happening is they will not grow. I mean, if it's meant for the purposes of growing the county, making more money for the county, they will not grow. They will not grow because people don't have money to build houses, and if they did, they wouldn't build it in certain places. I mean, some would, some wouldn't, but I mean, I would. I have the money, and I am building there. But most people, and when I say the people that I've spoken to, good, educated. I mean, we're talking people that own $1 million houses in Miami. They want a weekend retreat someplace. They want to build some land. I mean, they want to buy land someplace where they can park their RV at first for vacations. But most of these people end up retiring in these places. And they don't retire in an RV. We're talking about people like look, I live in a 3,300 square foot house. It's not giant by any means, but I'm extremely comfortable, and there is no way I'm going to retire. Nothing against it for those who live the RV life, but there's no way I'm living in an RV. If I lived in an RV, it would be a $200,000 RV. It wouldn't be a one that I bought for $2,000 or $3,000 and put in some money and made it. No. And if I'm spending $200,000 for an RV, I'll buy me personally, because I'm not the traveling and roaming and nomadic type. I'll buy a house anywhere and an RV for 20 or 30 grand and a smaller one and travel around if I had to. But anyway.
Yeah.
Mike
said he got the idea.
Okay, so yeah. To recap, Mike, basically, that's basically what it is you have a round over here, you have a round over here, this curve along with this curve, along with shaving off the waist here by pocketing everything, makes this look like it does. And then you could just, whatever you want. You separate this letter so you don't have this here. Or a lot of times what I do for a little trick, like for instance, look at this J. I don't like how this J looks. Well, what I like to do is, let's go back to here. You see this, I'm going to create a duplicate here. Actually, I'm not going to even create a duplicate. Okay, I'll just create a V-carve. And what I'll do is I will do this V-carve. Actually, no, not this.
We can't see what you're doing.
I'm sorry. Yeah, that would help if I actually share the screen. Sorry, folks. So back to this. Yeah, Mike, if you didn't see it, this is what I was showing earlier. So there's your half round here and your half round here. Now, this issue here with this E and this J, sometimes some letters are too close together and they won't allow the bit to pass through, so it won't pass through. Well, a little way to cheat, kind of, is to do the following. And this is what I like to do is I'll take this and I'll V-carve it. Notice I grabbed the outside one because this is the area that I want to V-carve. I click calculate now, and then what I'll do is calculate the V-carve, but wait a second. I want to pocket. Let me pocket with an 1/8 inch end mill. So whatever, I'll pocket with all three of them. Calculate. So now I don't need this pocket anymore, so let me just not select it. I've got all these pieces. Granted, I got them in the wrong order here, but let me reset. Come on, reset preview. It's in one of those moves. All right, here we go. All right. I hate this. Hang on a second. Stupid. I'm so used to on my Mac, you hit the plus and you zoom in, and this one you have to do it with the mouse. You can't. Well, anyway, reset preview, preview all toolpaths. I didn't mean to do all of them, but it doesn't matter. Okay, so now you see. Give it a second. Let it go through its whole little mess here. And I got the wrong. Again, I noticed right away it's 0.375. So let's do this once more. And reset preview. All right, here we go. We carve those two, and then we V-carve with the flat clearance path. So this is another way you could do it, is you V-carve it. Now, if you wanted that, like I like the straight look, so you could actually, let me just go ahead and do the pocket. There, that shaved off the pocket. But notice I V-carved, hang on a second, and let me, notice how I V-carved it now. So look at that J. It's no longer one big blob because the roundover bit can't go in there. It's not perfect, but there's a clear separation. Just V-carved through there. So the only reason I went through the whole trouble of this whole thing is to V-carve this. And around the, it just so happens around the edges here, it'll also V-carve, but, you know, that's as opposed to the original, which is, oh, hang on, let me get rid of the V there. the original, which is this. You see, you have the blob. You have the rounded edges all around here. So if you add that V-carve, let me go ahead and add the V-carve now. If you add that V-carve, it will...
You should tighten them up.
Yeah,
huh?
it'll shave off this thing. It'll trim these little corners. Even the K. Now, granted, you can see right here on the K and here, especially you can see it on the K. On the K, you can see exactly where the eighth inch goes up to, and we'll go no further. And then here where the V-carve bit. So eventually, now you at least have a path, so you can take a little Dazuki and or a little chisel, and if you truly are that, OCD, which I am not. But anyway, that was
Yeah, Mike says he does most of his signs with raised text with pocketing. He said that's how he does it. And
oh yeah, it's a simple procedure.
he needs to get a roundover bit without a bearing. Yeah, those have. That's the way to do it.
Yep, you need to get a roundover without a bearing. Most of those, well, it depends on the bearing. Yeah. Now here's the thing: if you have a roundover, I wonder if I have one lying around somewhere. I have a roundover here. I'm trying to find. Well, okay. That's a bad example. That's a bad example. All right, so I don't have it here, but it's in my other. I'm sorry, folks. The bit is in my other CNC. So
Thanks for the explanation.
Here you have, obviously, this is what the, if it can focus here, this is what the roundover looks like.
Yeah.
Nothing more than a well, a bit. It's a bit with a little tip on it. So that might work.
Yeah, we can see it.
Yeah. Well, anyway, you guys can see it. If you have the bearing here, just under the roundover, that's not a problem. Insert the bit inside there. Let the bearing spin. Doesn't matter. You're only going to be using this tip. So if that's an issue, if that's where you have the bearing, not a problem. If you have a roundover, again, this is the bit. This is the roundover bit that I'm talking about. Okay? So do not confuse this with, well, the big ones with the roundover. You could technically, but it'd be no, couldn't do it. Yeah, I mean, I think I know which one you're talking about. Is the one that has the bearing underneath it, and it is a half round. And that is a pain. That is, I mean, it's great for the bench. That's what you want, but it's a pain for this kind of work. So there we go. Let me see what we got here. Good evening, Joseph. Good to see you. Let's see here. Good to see everybody out here.
Yeah, I think we're pretty much caught up on everything.
Let's see. Anybody else have any suggestions? Thank you, Mike, for that suggestion. Anybody else have anything they want to see as far as I don't care what it is. How to, I don't know, puzzles or V-carve techniques or anything at all. There's a lot of different projects out there. I mean, I'll just go on the internet and pick one up at random and let's see, CNC.
I think most everybody likes the project shows irregardless.
Yeah, I mean, I'll do something at random. Let's say you wanted to make, for instance, all right, here's one that I've seen. And let's see, how much time do I got? Let's see how quickly I can do this.
3 minutes.
No, 4 minutes. Sorry, folks. I'll leave it for next time. But next week, what I'll do is I'll show you how to make one of those little mazes. I don't know if you've seen it. Imagine, if you will, it looks like kind of like a cutting board. You got handles on either side, but it's round in the middle, and it's one of those little mazes that you have the ball. You drop the ball, and you try to get it to the middle.
Yeah.
It is probably, in fact, let me go over 5 minutes, and I'll show you how fast and easy that is. So,
well, Mike had another question for
sharing.
you. Mike wanted to know, do you pump plain water through your spindle?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I swap out the water every 6 months. I don't have an issue at all.
Remember now,
But then again,
lives in Florida.
But then again, one thing you got to realize is I'm indoors and this is air conditioned. So the water is not going to be, and it's not enclosed, but there's a lid on it. So if it was outdoors and you have it like in a 5-gallon bucket, you're going to get algae like nobody's business. So, or if you're outdoors and you're in freezing weather, it's not going to work very well. But Mako, I'm not going to do any 3D models because that's a little, frankly, there's a lot of people that do that stuff. And it's a lot easier to pick up a 3D model already made than to have me teach you AutoCAD or Fusion or one of the other programs that I would make a 3D model in. And it's basically would take a lot more than an hour to design something truly worthwhile.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's that simple. It's an investment in time. If you're going to do something like that, then by all means, like say a barley twist or something really ornate, fancy on a lathe, on a CNC lathe. But if you're doing something just for a sign or something like that with just simple, then don't waste your time. Use V-Carve. That's why they came out with it. But yeah, I hear you. It's nice to have. I've delved into the 3D world, and it's like the I gotta tell you, it's also the 3D world. It's like the 3D plastic world. Not interested. It's I would personally rather take a bunch of 2-dimensional stuff and create a 3-dimensional thing out of them. All right, let's say Mike sign. I'll just call this Mike sign. Okay, so folks, let's do this nice, wonderful little project. Let's see if we can do it in record time. It is now 9 o'clock on the nose. Let's see how fast I can do this. Okay, say click OK. I'm going to do this 10-inch right here. Then I'll do another one. Let's say 12-inch. Let's say 8-inch.
I think Mike's wondering if you have a Black Friday announcement.
Not till next week. Oh yeah, the Black Friday. Oh yeah, I can't forget the Black Friday announcement. That's the Black Friday announcement. Okay, I'll get to that very shortly. I'll leave it right till the end of the show. Okay, 6 to 12, and let's do 14, and then let's just go 16 inches just for the heck of it, which is kind of crazy, but. All right, so 16, boom. Now, every single one of these, I will do the following. I will select them all, and I will create inwards, and they will be a 1/4 inch inwards. So 0.25. And I have, okay. Select every other one. Actually, let me select, offset, select, offset, select. Sorry, I got to do it this way, guys, but if not, it'll go both ways. So there you go. So you see, I've already created this wonderful thing. And this one, I will offset 1 inch and on the outside. Offset, good. Close. I will do one of these fancy little squares here from here to here. Well, okay, an oval works. I'll do another oval, whatever. I'm not gonna worry about the handles right now. That's taking up more time than I want. Okay, so I have this. Now it's a simple matter of creating either squares or lines. So now I'll do a line right here. So basically, you guys get You guys get the idea. I create a bunch of lines, and I create over here, let's say I want the ball to go through this little area here. I made it too complex for my own good. I'll just do another one of these zigzag things and go here, 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 here. I've just created a box. So I'll say this, and then I'll hold the shift key, and then I'll say subtract. And with that simple technique that I just showed you, and by the way, then you take these three, let's say these. Okay, that's already one piece. This we will, let me see if I can weld it. No, that will weld both of them. All right, so bottom line is I'll take this piece and I'll just weld it all together. So with that piece, that's still, you simply select all of them. Again, I'll let you do all the little detail work, but you get the idea. Create a nice little maze here for a ball. Select all of them. Say toolpaths, pocket, and create a pocket toolpath. Say, well, that's a good pocket toolpath. Calculate. Boom. Reset preview, preview all toolpaths. Boom, 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 boom. Now, again, you got to keep in mind, I'm going to have a lot more little things there, but that is your maze. And I basically showed you the basics of that in 4 minutes. So it's a simple matter to go out here and create a little hole here for a handle, a hole here for a handle, and I believe it looks exactly, whoop, where'd it go? Here it is. Like this one here, or very similar to it. You guys can see this picture?
Yep.
Yeah, there you go. So again, have at it, do whatever you want. And yes, exactly like a maze. Ready? And there we are. So folks, that's it. I mean, I got to tell you, if you got grandkids, they'll be entertained all day long. And maybe next week I'll do another project or two for grandkids. Okay, folks, for those of you that, let me go to the, try to remember what the website is. Yes, I remember now. Okay, I just got to copy it and paste it. So, folks, this is the site you go to enter your name for next week's drawing, and it's popping up now on the thing. It's javi.com/Black Friday CNC giveaway. That's Black Friday CNC giveaway. And I'll be giving away one, possibly more, but most likely one, a Javi box, full blown with all the accessories, worth about $800. It's going to be the Javi box, CNC controller, for any do-it-yourself kit with, well, up to NEMA 34 motors, but light NEMA 34s, you know, something like 300, 400 ounce-inch NEMA 34s. But if you're going to NEMA 23s, then it'll easily push 425s and 500s, 550s, no problem. So, yeah, I'll be giving that away. next week because as of today, I have sold 94, count them, folks, 94 boxes since my opening. And since, I mean, it all started to help out Dave sell some more Gatton CNCs, a fantastic product. And then it just blossomed into something bigger than me, which is pretty cool. So anyway, yeah, it's not that big. It's just it helped me employ a few people. Now I got people making them, and it's nice to give somebody the luxury of jobs. They're barely getting paid anything. This is all pretty much a service to the community because you're paying me for my time and nothing more. The CNCs themselves, the CNC controllers themselves, are very, very well. It's only labor. There's no profit margin on it whatsoever. And you'll know that if you price out the parts, and then calculate 20 hours of building time for yourself or more if you don't know how to solder and other stuff. And it might be easier for you to do it this way. If you want to do it yourself, if you want to put a CNC controller yourself, by all means, go on my website and send me a comment. I mean, I'm not going to show you how to do it. You got to figure out how to do it, but I'll be happy to walk you through any issues that you'll have. I'll be happy to suggest any because I have done the research on multiple controllers, and I got my degree in electrical engineering from FIU. So, I've been CNC world for a good 10, 20 years. So 20 or 30 years. Holy cow, I'm old. So I know what I'm talking about. And all I'm doing is I want to get more people out there interested in the CNC community. So go to Javi.com/Black Friday CNC giveaway. And in honor of my soon to be 100th, because I expect it'll cross about the same time, 100th sale, I will be sharing love, as it were, because I'm not very big on giving money away, particularly when it's my hard-earned money. So, folks, have a wonderful day, have a wonderful week, and I will. And thank you for the birthday wishes from last week, Hitch. I appreciate it, and everyone have a great week, and I'll see you next week on Javi Unboxed. Catch me throughout the week at random. Subscribe to my channel, and you'll see an extremely laid-back, boring, casual, and you're welcome to join me on if you have video, lives Monday, Wednesday, Friday, whenever. This week, they'll be here from home. The following week, I'm actually going to be doing some lives from the property during the day, just walking around and enjoying myself. So, folks, enjoy. Hope you're entertained. Hope you learned something, and have a great